Hi everyone, I'm Manolia. Today's topic is lexical semantics. In this chapter, we will focus on traditional semantics, basic semantics relationships, structural semantics, semantic features, prototypes, semantic anomaly, cognitive approaches to meaning. First one, traditional semantics. There are three assumptions, and these are: firstly, traditional semantics is a prescriptive approach to meaning that assumes that the meaning of a phrase or sentence consists of the sum of the meanings of its parts. According to this approach, there is only one dictionary meaning of a word, but this is a false assumption. Semantics ignores many aspects of meaning apart from the meanings of words, such as the function of meaningful phonological features, the meaning of the grammatical structure, and the significance of the communicative context. Traditional semantics assume that the relation between words and things is simple and direct. Other assumption is traditional semantics assume that the meaning of individual words can be treated separately. However, the meanings of words are often interdependent and can only be understood in the context of other words. And third assumption, meaning is always in reference to phenomena outside language. Intention. The intention of a general term is the set of features which are shared by everything to which it applies. For example, chair is a piece of furniture designed to be sat by one person at a time. Extension of a lexeme is that the set of entities which it donates. For example, chair includes every chair that is in the world. Basic semantic relationship. Paraphrase. We naturally recognize when two expressions have the same meaning. For example, he has tons of stuff to throw away. Paraphrase. He needs to get rid of a lot of junk. Entailment. One statement implies another when the second is a logical consequence of the first. For example, he bought 3 horses. He bought 3 animals. Inclusion. One statement encompasses another when the first is broader than the second. For example, I like fruit. I like apples. Contradiction. Two statements are contradictory if they cannot both be true. For example, he is married. He is single. It's not possible. Anomaly. An expression has no meaning in everyday context and violates semantic rules. For example, the rock giggled. Lexical ambiguity. A word or phrase has multiple meanings in context. For example, I saw bats. Bat is animal and also bat is a stick. Denotation and connotation. Words have literal meanings, denotation, and also evoke feelings or opinions, connotation. Posimy, a word has multiple related meanings such as court meaning, enclosed area, a retinue of sovereign or a judicial tribunal. Homonym, two words sound and are written the same but have different meanings, such as bark meaning odor covering of wood, or sharp sound but made by a dog. Meronym, it's a term used to describe a part-whole relationship between lexical items. For example, branch to tree. Presupposition, what is assumed beforehand by an utterance, such as the existence of the thing or person being talked about. For example, you are late again, you were late before. Factive expressions, expression that presuppose a certain fact, such as it's tragic that it's raining. Non-factive expression that do not presuppose a certain fact, such as I believe that it's raining. Structural semantics, there are three types of major relationship. First one, synonym. The concept of synonym is widely understood and inherently evident. It signifies the equivalence of meaning or sense, as exemplified by the terms huge, enormous. Synonym is not always an exact match. The meaning of words can change depending on the setting they are used in. Also known as context-dependent synonym. For example, the word peel can refer to the outer covering of a fruit or vegetable. And also the word skin can also have two meanings, and it can be referred to the outer layer of an animal. Hyponym, the lexical relationship in which the meaning of the word is included in the meaning of another word. Complementary is a type of semantic relationship between words and phrases that are opposite or contradictory in meaning. For example, right and wrong are complementary is that the assertion of right implies the negation of wrong. Antonym is a semantic relationship between words or phrases that have opposite or contrasting meanings. For example, the words hot and cold are antonyms, and they can be arranged on a scale of temperature. Scalar adjectives are a type of adjective. They are often used to compare things or to express degrees of intensity. For example, the word tall is a scalar adjective because it can be used to describe the height of a person or object on a scale from short to tall. Covariances is a semantic relationship between words and words or phrases that are related to each other in a reciprocal or reverse manner. In other words, the meaning of one word or phrase is dependent on the meaning of its converse. For example, the words buy and sell are converses because the act of buying something is the opposite of the fact of selling something. Semantic features. Componential analysis is a method for analyzing the meaning of words by breaking them down into their basic semantic components or features. These features are thought to be universal, meaning that they are found in all languages and they are used to distinguishing between words with different meanings. Componential analysis is the analysis of words through the structured set of semantic features which are given as present and absent or indifferent with reference to feature. For example, dog, which we can analyze as adult and male, is often used to refer to both male and female. Canis thus negative and positive male, and young and old canis, thus negative and positive adult. Feature analysis of nouns. They can be counted. For example, apple, book. Refers to physical object, and also apple book. Refers to an intangible concept, love, truth. Refers to a group of things, team, family, and refers to the substance that cannot be counted individually, water, air, information, for example. Primate usually refers to animal rather than vegetable life, with a secondary meaning of living. Thus, for example, tree and beef should be analyzed as negative animate, the first not being animal life and the second not being living. And for example, weather, common, negative count, and concentrate, and also it's not animate. 8, it's common, count, concentrate, animate, human, and male it could be. Feature analysis of a verbal predicates. Stative. This feature indicates whether the verb describes a change in state, dynamic, or not stative. Dynamic. Describe things have a definite beginning and end. For example, eat, will, go, right. Stative refers to a state or condition. For example, have, believe, think. Durative. This feature recognizes whether the situation goes on in time. It refers to positive durative, or occurs at a moment in time. It's negative durative. Telic. This feature relates to whether the verb describes an action with a clear goal or purpose. It's telic or not atelic. Telic verbs like finish, achieve, or build have an inherent endpoint, while atelic verbs like walk, run, or play continue indefinitely unless interrupted. Voluntary. This feature indicates whether the verb describes an action that's deliberate or intentional. It's voluntary or not involuntary. Voluntary verbs like choose, decide, or plan involve conscious decision making, while involuntary verbs like cry or blink happen without conscious effort. States represent unchanging conditions or attributes that describe the way something is or exists. States persist through the duration of their existence and do not necessitate any change or action. States are typically expressed using simple verb forms and cannot be influenced by commands, force, or persuasion. Manner adverbs and progressive verb forms are incompatible with state verbs. States cannot be employed in a pseudo-cleft sentence and can only be initiated or terminated, not concluded. Activities are dynamic situations that occur over time, potentially indefinitely. They are typically expressed using progressive verb forms, and they can be either continued or changing. Activities cannot be commanded, forced, and they cannot be finished, although they can start and stop. For example, run, swim. Accomplishments are dynamic situations that have a clear endpoint or climax that it's necessary for their completion. They involve an activity phrase that leads up to the terminal point. It means that have a clear endpoint or goal that must be reached before they can be considered complete, and they can be finished unlike states and activities. Accomplishments take a specific duration and can be ambitious with the word almost. Achievements are punctual events that occur a single moment in time. They are not transitable as their completion occurs as soon as they begin. Achievements are non-telic, meaning they do not have a necessary endpoint or goal. The progressive aspects cannot be used with achievements, and the verbs start and stop cannot be used with achievements as they themselves are achievements. Achievements are often negative voluntary, though they can be positive voluntary. For example, she sang. The verb sang simply describes an ongoing action of singing. However, when the nominal object a song is added, the action becomes more goal-oriented. The person is singing a specific song, which gives the action a sense of completion. Definite plural objects make the situation an accomplishment. For example, she sang 2 songs. Feature analysis of models. Model meaning refers to matters of possibility and necessity can be analyzed using 2 features. Epistemic modality expresses the speaker's degree of certainty about a proposition. It answers the question, how do you know? For example, it may rain tomorrow. I'm not sure, but it's possible that it will be rain tomorrow. She must be very intelligent. I'm very confident that she is intelligent. Donetic modality expresses the speaker's attitude towards the permissibility or obligation of an action. It answers the question, what should I do? For example, you should study your exam. It's your obligation to study your exam. You may leave the room. You are permitted to leave the room. Modal auxiliaries such as may, must, can, should, and ought to can have both epistemic and donetic meanings. The meaning of a modal auxiliary in a particular sentence depends on the context in which it's used. For example, he can speak English. Epistemic meaning, he is capable of speaking English. Donetic meaning, he is allowed to speak English. Permissive may is often replaced by can for many speakers. The ability sense of cannot be expressed by may. Had to is the only way to express obligation in the past. Postscript on semantic features. Semantic feature analysis is a method for analyzing the meaning of words by breaking them down into their constituent components. The goal of semantic feature analysis is to create a universal list of semantic features that can be used to describe the meaning of all words in a language. However, this goal has never been met. There are several challenges to mean semantics feature analyzing. For example, it's difficult to decide what the primitive components of meaning are. Many aspects of meaning are not binary. Different parts of speech have different kinds of semantic features. Not all semantic features are relevant in every context. Some words have semantic features that are unique to them. Prototypes. Prototype theory is an alternative to feature analysis for understanding the meaning of words. It proposes that we have a prototypical concept of each category, and we understand all other members of the category in relation to this prototype. Categories are often fuzzy, and there is no clear boundary between members and non-members of a category. Some members of a category are more central than others. For example, birds is a good one to illustrate prototype theory. Robins, sparrows, starlings, jays, and eagles are all core members of the verb category. They share many features that, for example, feathers, wings, and the ability to fly. Other example, emus and ostriches have feathers, but they cannot fly. Penguins have feathers and wings, but they use their wings for swimming rather than flying. Chickens have feathers and wings, but they are not very good at flying. Despite their differences, all of these animals are considered to be birds because they share enough features with the prototypical bird. Semantic anomaly refers to instances in language where specific combinations of words or expression are considered devoid of meaning or illogical due to inherent meanings of the words involved. For example, the bird of a peanut or the bird of a lamb are deemed semantically anomalous because the concept of bird is conventionally linked to living entities rather than inanimate objects like peanuts or lambs. Selectional restrictions refer to limitation on the compatibility or selectional restrictions refers to limitation on the combinability of words in language. Each word not only carries certain meanings, semantic features within its meaning, but may also necessitate that the word is coexist with possesses specific features. These requirements are also known as selectional restrictions. For example, fly typically requires a subject with the feature winged. Still, in non-literal usage, one may say the paper flew out the window, where the subject paper doesn't possess the expected feature. In such cases, one can either broaden the selectional restriction, positive, capable of being lifted by wind, or knowledge that prototypically the verb fly requires a positive wind. Figurative language. Figurative language is language that is used in non-neutral way. It's used to create a more vivid or interesting image in the reader's mind. Metaphor is a type of figurative language that compresses two things that are not alike in a literal sense. Oxymoron, it's a combination of words that have opposite or different meaning. For example, the film is seriously and funny. Tautology, saying of the same thing twice in different words. For example, singular behavior, not a singular behavior, because behavior means that single. Synesthesia, the confusion or combination of the senses. For example, the cookies look delicious. Synecdoche, part of something to represent the entire whole or reverse. For example, the pen is mightier than the sword, refers to writing but only mentions the pen. Metonym, the name of one object is substituted for something closely associated with. The White House declared that we are war with Mars. The White House refers to the president. Personification attributes human characteristic, emotion, and behavior to animals and inanimate object or idea. For example, you can the trees whispered in the dark. Metaphor, a comparison in which one thing is said to be another. She is a shining star.